All right, hello students. Welcome to week number 2 of Introduction to Law Enforcement. This week we're going to go over history of law enforcement and police organization. You need to read chapters 2 and 3, and this week your assignment due is the website discussion. It is due by Sunday at the end of the week this week, which is Sunday the 17th by 10 p.m. or 2200 hours. All right, this video is going to cover Chapter 2's PowerPoint. So let's get started. Chapter 2 is a brief history of the police in the United States. All right, remember the green is the important thing for the final exam. All right, early history of policing. The origins of American policing can be traced back to England, where a night watch system was employed to help protect the cities. English settlers, actually about 90% of them, brought with them the night watch system. Basically, citizens resolved disputes among themselves, and they had a night watch system that was there to help out if anybody needed, but pretty much policing was done by citizens on their own. By the 1800s, with the rapid growth of cities, crimes and mob violence had become problems in both British and American cities. So, Sir Robert Peel, who was the Home Secretary in London, believed, you know what, we need to have police out there. They should be organized. They should be like the military. They should wear uniforms and have good appearance and walk beats. That's Sir Robert Peel. And so Peel, along with Patrick Colquhoun, put together many of these principles, and they established the London Modern Police Department. During Peel's time, see these police officers? They used to call them bobbies. Now we call them cops, but in Europe we call them bobbies. In by the 1870s, Peel's strategy had spread to every city in America. And not only did America have now night watch systems, but they had day watch systems as well. And by the 1850s, we had 24-hour police protection like you see today. By the mid-19th century, the watch and ward systems were replaced with the central police agencies. Basically, one agency, like you think of one FBI. Not every state has FBI. Well, we actually had a centralized police agencies. They were like the uniformed police we see today, and they walked regular beats. But in about the early 1900s, to be specific, July 26th of 1908, the FBI was established. And therefore, you started having not so much of central police agencies, but you had a federal agency, and then the states had their own agencies. All right, technology soon started taking effect, and by 1903, the first motor patrol was established in Boston. That was so the officers could get a better view of what was going on. And in the 1920s, the news of what was going on in the world started hitting the airwaves. You guys, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it's been, a little over 90 years, but really not that long ago that basically we just started reporting on the news of crime. In 1930, St. Louis was the first to install a transmitting station so that officers could actually go to their car and talk to dispatch. All right, we've got a few eras I want you to learn about. The first one is the political era. That was from the 1830s to 1900, and it was called the political era because there was a lot of political corruption. Chicago was known as the most corrupt city out there. Basically, if you had a political connection, you could do whatever you wanted to do. It didn't matter if it was against the law. Then, from the early 1900s to the 1960s, they realized this is the reform era. There's a lot of political corruption up there. Therefore, we need to have some goals, and that is to destroy the political bosses and create police professionalism. Also, the Wickersham Commission report came out, and this was about all the corruption that was going on in the police world. All right, another important person other than Peel who basically came up with police officers being bobbies is August Vollmer, and he's actually from America, from California, and he's considered the father of American police professionalism. All right, policing in the 60s and 70s was really the most challenging we had ever seen. Crime rates had doubled. You had civil rights movement, anti-war sentiment, and therefore you had the President's Commission on Law Enforcement and Admin of Justice come along because we need to make sure that we were dealing with crime. CALEA was also established in 1979, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it was established to ensure that police departments had proper rules, regulations, policies, and procedures. All right, our next era is the community policing or problem-solving era. I remember this well. This was kind of my era when I entered police work. It was the 1980 to early 2000s, and basically police saw that they needed public cooperation to help solve crimes. They couldn't do it by themselves. There was numerous technological advances, and a lot of community relations programs started, such as DARE, and I actually taught DARE. Also, along with COP, community-oriented policing, you had POP, problem-oriented policing, which basically approached on looking at what the problems were, and then police would work with other citizens and other agencies to solve the crimes that were going on. They were becoming more proactive than reactive. All right, current issues in police work right now. Well, currently, recruitment and selection. Right now, the media is focused on the police officers, which is good. When you have a job where you can take away somebody's freedom and take them to jail, you should, and you have such opportunity to commit crimes because you're around drugs and all kinds of things, cops should be watched. And there are a lot of good cops out there, so I can't wait until the light is on all those good cops out there and what they're doing. Accountability, and that's why I think it's really good that we have all these cameras out there, and that not only can people see what cops are doing, but what cops have to deal with on a daily basis and all the great things that they do, especially having to do with discretion and ethical decision making. Oops, sorry, I got out of there. All right, let's get back in there. Sorry, everybody. Okay, we're right here. I think are we on the last one? Oh, we are on the last one. Okay, that has to do with chapter number 2. The next video will be chapter number 3, and that will be it for week number 2. So be sure to watch the next video, which is chapter number 3.